Hi, today we are with Sowmya, who has over 5 years of experience in AV industry with specialization in electronics. Sowmya, why it is important to invest in high quality cable or switches in any AV integration compared to any low cost option?
Sure, it really matters what kind of cables you use for a AV project. Now, if we are talking about distances of 5 feet in maybe a home theater scenario or any room application where the signal run is over shorter distances and you're connecting the source directly to the display using this cable, it doesn't impact much. But stepping into the corporate world or any other application where there are considerable distances involved in signal transmission, definitely signal integrity is taken care of by the cable. No matter what electronics, how much of a expense you have on the high-end electronics, it's important you choose the right quality of cables to avoid any kind of loss, to have the loss at its minimum level, as well as bring out the optimum performance of the electronics involved. Now, consider purchasing a car, a high-end car, and you're fueling it with petrol or any fuel with water. How good is that or how bad is that for your car? And not only the performance, but as well as it could even affect the engine, right? So now consider the fuel as a signal and cable is a conduit where the signal flows. It's extremely important that you take into account several parameters while choosing the cable. The cable that you choose for a AV project has to have a good bend radius. By bend radius, I mean the flexibility of the cable when you use it for a raceway or for a long haul transmission. It's certainly important over a period of time that your cable performance is good and it doesn't snap out. The second thing is you have extremely good connectivity at the endpoints or at the interfaces where it connects to the device, right? You have all these connectors and you have different metals with varying conductivity. So it's important you use a good connector such as a gold connector that not only makes a full contact with your system, but also takes care of signal loss. If you were to employ a cable, it has to be shielded from electromagnetic and radio frequency, rather the interference. So right now we have good quality cables available in the industry from leading manufacturers that has a foiled and a braided shield. So this does not cause any kind of a signal degradation over long run.
Sowmya, how does it bring down the performance of any AV system with poor cabling?
The visible results are on the display, right? The image is projected onto a screen or a display. Now, when you have poor quality cables or any cable that is available in the market in your AV system design, it's going to impact, it's going to cause huge loss on the pixel transmission as we spoke about. And what you would see is spots where there is absolutely no image on the screen, or you would also have streaks of image, which is mainly due to the cable's inherent capacitance and resistance that adds to the loss. So it's very important that you have a good cable infrastructure built into your AV network.
Sowmya, what about high quality switches, how they are important in any AV integration?
Now the switches, they primarily they communicate or act as a medium between the source as well as display. You will have multiple sources when a switcher comes into picture. Now it's important that the display compatibility, what I mean is the native resolution of the display or the different resolutions that the display can output. It's important that these are communicated to the source. So the switcher takes care of this by a process called the EDID management, wherein a set of tables is maintained in the switcher, or it could also be a real-time transfer of the different resolutions that the display can output is communicated to the source, and a handshake is established, and after that the source is able to give out the resolution that's supportive of the display. Then another aspect or parameter to consider is HTCP compliance. This is when all the sources are going to be Blu-ray in the market. it's very important that the switcher is able to identify which source is sending out an encrypted content. And most important of all, I would say, is the switching time. That is, if you have multiple sources and you want to switch between the inputs, the minimum delay should be there. That is, the user should not be able to identify any kind of a glitch when it switches between inputs. So this is called seamless switching, which most of the high-end switchers currently have in the industry.
Thank you, Sowmya, for your inputs on high quality cables and switches.
Thank you.